start by saying there is great difficulty at the United Nations today, and I'm confident President Trump's nominee can help bring much-needed change. This is widely recognized by people here up on the Hill. Senator Cotton, Senator Capito both made reference to it. I know you're well aware of it. One of the unfortunate things, and maybe this hearing will help, is the vast majority of the American people do not recognize the deterioration that has happened at the United Nations and how it has strayed from its original purposes. There is great difficulty there. I think that we need significant change. As threats from China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran continue to grow, Representative Stefanik, your position will be at the heart of the U.S. efforts to stand up to the authoritarian axis that seeks to undermine the United States at every turn and to ensure our partners and allies are also doing their part. I know you're up to that task. The UN was founded to be a force for peace and stability in the world, an admirable goal. It's not working. Since its founding, the United States has helped shape the UN and has supported it in dollars, lots and lots and lots of dollars, and in spirit. But today, the United States remains the largest funder of the UN system. We pay 22% of the regular budget, and we pay 25% of the peacekeeping budget. And what have the American people gotten for these investments? They have chaos, complete dysfunction at the UN, and a warped sense of right and wrong. In place of needed reform, the U.S. is constantly asked to give more to the UN, but over time the organization has drifted farther away from American values, putting American national security in jeopardy. Representative Stefanik, I know that President Trump has nominated you to the UN because he knows you're not afraid to stand up for the American people, ensure that taxpayer dollars are truly putting America first, and push back against the real problems, constant problems, that plague the United Nations. As the UN has expanded its mission, the amount of conflict, waste, fraud, and abuse has grown. In the UN Security Council, which is charged with maintaining international peace, security, consensus, and partnership on the many issues world faces, has become a fantasy. Critical issues that demand the Council's attention fall to the wayside. Accountability for Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, China's grotesque human rights abuses, genocide in the Sudan, regime change in Syria, all go unaddressed. But by what is supposed to be the leading international organization to resolve these conflicts. As the authoritarian axis grows and competes against democratic nations, the UN will descend back into the paralysis that has marked the Cold War if it continues on its course, which it has no indication it is changing. To make matters worse, our adversaries have weaponized the UN against Americans and democratic interests. Prior to the fall of Assad, Putin used the Security Council to block any action to hold Assad regime accountable for its crimes against humanity. China has used its malign influence to block attempts to discuss the Chinese government-sponsored genocide against the Uyghurs, and they have blocked our ally, Taiwan, from fully participating in the UN. China also manipulates the UN personnel system, which we all know, and they've used it to install Chinese diplomats into the UN bureaucracy that only serve China's goals and interests. There is a deep, deep anti-Israel bias within the United Nations that has only grown stronger since Hamas's horrendous, unprovoked attack against Israel on October 7th. This sentiment was spearheaded by the UN Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, which had numerous employees participate in October 7th terrorist attacks and allowed its schools and facilities to be used by Hamas. Remember, these are U.S. tax dollars that partially help fund UNRWA. For years, I have led my colleagues on legislation to end the U.S. contributions to this anti-Semitic organization, which openly employs terrorists. UNRWA must go. What I've just described is not what the American people want out of their taxpayer dollars. Our contributions should serve America's interests first, and I know you will bring that message to the United Nations system loud and clear. Representative Stefanik, I believe it is reasonable to evaluate every UN agency to determine if what they are doing is directly beneficial to America and hold them account until the answer is a resounding yes. Anything less should not be tolerated. If these agencies cannot be changed, and at this point, the U.S. should seriously examine if further contributions and indeed participation in the UN is even beneficial to the American people. I'm interested to hear your plans for change at the UN, and I look forward to seeing the tremendous work I know that you will do for our country and to make the world a safer place for future generations. Thank you.